Okay, it has been a long ass time since I've uploaded the video. It's been like a couple weeks, and I'm just gonna say I have been building more stuff, as you can see here with this beautiful Harley Davidson type thing in front of you. I say Harley Davidson, it's just kind of a generic chopper bike with a sidecar. But I have been building more stuff, and I haven't been doing a lot of videos because I just kind of haven't had the time to. Like the entire time I was recording videos, I was completely unemployed, and recently been sorting all that shit out. Been having job finding meetings and stuff. And long story short, I now have a job, so videos are going to tend to be a bit more infrequent. But I'm still going to be having builds, and I'm still going to have a lot of stuff to cover. Just I won't have as much time to record. Then I've got other content to produce outside of YouTube that brings me more money than YouTube does, because currently I make nothing off of YouTube. The only way I could make money off YouTube is instructions, and no one seems to be buying them, so instead people just demand that I give them instructions for free, which if you want the instructions for this for free, go fuck yourself. I'm not giving you them. I put the work in to build these things. I don't owe you anything in any fucking way. If you want the instructions, you can pay for them like a decent human being. Anyway, with that out of the way, here we have Lockdown. I know what you're thinking. Don't click off the video, and if you're a regular, you've probably heard me say that so many fucking times, but yeah, Lockdown in animated is usually a muscle car, and he doesn't exist anything else because the one from Age of Extinction isn't real. Not only was that movie garbage, but that was not Lockdown. That was a weird grey monkey man that turned into a shitty Lamborghini that was, big surprise, a grey car in a Michael Bay film. Instead of just making him a black muscle car, which would have made people happy. But here he keeps his animated colour scheme, but this time in the form of a Harley Davidson bike. You can't see it as much because this forms his arm. Spoiler alert, it's the only reason it's yellow. But bring it around the front, you can see some nice sticker detail from hidden side. Bring it around this side, you see some engine detail, some more prints, and of course, Autobot and Decepticon badges from his victims, and more of that green and black colour scheme coming through. This engine as well is fully detailed all around. You just can't really see it because of the sidecar. Got a seat there, got handlebars, headlight. The wheel does spin, but the way it's pivoted for transformation, it does not spin in a normal way. The back wheel is more of an indication with some black pieces and therefore does not spin due to transformation. Bringing it around here, you can see there's also this this actually really nice print from a Lego Batman movie set. And of course the Junkrat tyre piece here. We got this nice exhaust block type thing that is going to obviously become his EMP blast. And there is a seat here that you can put a minifigure in. So this guy is sort of a weird scale. If I bring in another chopper bike that's sort of familiar, but also it isn't. We have Roadrunner here, who is a much smaller chopper bike. It actually works as minifigure scale, so if you want a minifigure scale chopper bike, even without the transformation, you just pop this headpiece off and just use the same build, and it will work just fine. But bringing him away, bringing this back out, getting the light back on it, there we go. But basically, this guy doesn't properly scale with human characters necessarily. Like, he's not a human-sized bike. I'll show this off by bringing in Orion Pax here, in his little human pretender form. You can see he's tiny. Now, to get someone, a minifigure into the sidecar, you just kind of, usual routine, sit him down, sit him on the studs, then just bring it forward. And they'll just sit in the sidecar, look kind of stupid. But what you can do is take a smaller character and actually have them ride it. So, first time debuting this guy on the channel for his own video, we'll bring in Cosmos here. He might be able to sit on, he might not. But you just kind of bring the legs back. Actually bring legs forward. And you just kind of sit him, you kind of have to rest him on, but it's kind of got some Junkrat and Road Dogg vibes going on. You could actually take this build and recolor it to be the Junkrat and Roadhog bike. You'd have to change this hand as well to like a big round punchy fist. But this works as a minifig scale version of Junkrat and Roadhog's bike, with the sidecar on like the Harley type bike. And that's the vibes I get from these two of Cosmos and a regular human. But it is not made to be to scale with a human. I'm sure in universe there probably some sort of mass shifting to get him to be the right size. This is more made for an actual, like, another Cybertronian to ride on, like a smaller character. Okay, taking Orion out. There is accessories, but none of them can attach. So we have his revolver, which has nowhere to attach. He's got a hat, which gives you a little indication of the theme. And in case you still haven't figured out, he's also got a lasso. And completely unrelated, but a chainsaw hand, just because it's something he hadn't animated. Anyway, enough faffing about. Let's get to the transformation of this guy. So, first off, just lift him up. You see the entire lower part fall down. We're going to rotate that round. This gives you not only this nice oil tank detail, but also the waist. Flip the headlight back, bring the legs down. I'm going to fold this up and roll this wheel until it's flush against the ground. And that is the heel on that leg. The other leg does not have a wheel, so it's fine. We're then just going to fold out the sidecar and extend it, and also pop the EMP off. I forgot about that. Next thing we're going to do is rotate these handlebars around and fold them in, and split what is going to be his waistcoat's pieces and rotate them out. Then just going to push those to the back, and we're going to work. Oh, and we're also going to rotate the hook hand. Now we're going to work on this arm. So we're going to hinge this entire section down, and then we're going to hinge this entire section. And while we do that, we're going to extend this. And this tire here, this back wheel needs to slide. This is very blurry, but it's because my camera is shit. I might eventually, depending on how big I get into doing YouTube stuff, I might eventually buy a better camera instead of just using my phone, like an absolute heathen. But it's not making me enough money to think about doing that yet, so we'll see. Anyway, once we fix that on, we can extend that arm out fully, and that is just going to fold up. Then going to come to where the seat is, we're going to rotate it, fold the hand up, and once again, just slide it up on this bar. And that forms his arms. And then for the head, we simply just flip it up, rotate it. Now this is where accessories kind of need to get involved to make him look good, because he looks fine. But we're going to start by attaching his hat. You cannot see because it's off frame, because there we go. We're then going to pop this wheel off of this side. It can then be stowed on his back, and in its place we can put the EMP. Just going to stud on. This can also just be stored on his back if you don't want it there. And there we have lockdown in his robot mode. So he's tall. And to show it off, I would bring in Cosmos, but I've never showed off Cosmos on the channel before, so I'm going to bring in someone that I have showed off on the channel. Let's grab Blitzwing, but I don't know if I actually have shown off Blitzwing, weirdly enough. I probably have, but I don't know. We'll grab Soundwave. There he is next to Soundwave, another tall boy who is not as tall as him. Soundwave is shorter. At the same time, you can attribute that to Soundwave having chicken legs where he squats down, but unless you squat him down, Soundwave looks ridiculous because he's just got this really tiny torso and just really long limbs. This guy kind of has the opposite. He's very asymmetrical, somewhat based off an animated. For another size comparison, we'll bring in the original animated toy. Now, you're going to say the hook hand is on the wrong side on the animated toy. That's because the hand is broken on that side, so I just used it to cover it up. If the hand wasn't broken, that would be on the right side. See, this guy is really taller. He's about the size of, like, a modern leader, if not a bit taller. I mean, the definition of leader at this point is basically a Voyager, but we put a little bit more effort in than usual and gave a shit, so we're going to charge you way more for it because we're cunts. And that is a direct quote from Hasbro that was definitely stated. Just make sure you don't Google it or try and fact check it at all. Just take it at face value, they definitely said that. Bringing in accessories, that's where it gets fun. Of course, we have the hat that's an accessory. We also have this big fat revolver that just clips into this hand. He, of course, only has one hand with the hook. You can, if you really wanted to, this is attached by a stud, so you can just pop the hand off and replace it with an actual stud. There's also have this lasso, which can, like, unclip and extend out into a full whip, and has this clip on it, so you can make a loop on the end. And then, of course, he has, to replace his hook, a chainsaw, which simply wants to break a lot, but that simply just studs on where his hook hand was, and just gives another option instead of the hook. I'm going to put the hook back on though, because I like the hook more. Of course, you can see a lot more of this motorcycle engine detail on there. You can also see he's got the Decepticon badges that he's collected from victims, as well as Autobot badges he's collected on either side on these trench coat pieces. That's something my original had. This is a V2. My original was a bit smaller, and he turned into a big old van type thing. This one's more of a Western themed bounty hunter, so I thought Harley Davidson works a lot better. It is also based off a piece of fan art that I cannot remember the name of the artist off the top of my head, which is really annoying me. But he drew a similar vehicle mode. The robot modes are very different, though. I mean, I kept, the hat because I liked it, but I want a more metallic hat. I got rid of, the rag that was covering the one side, which you could add by just popping the head off and cutting out a bit of cloth, but I chose not to. Anyway, not much more to say about him. My next video will actually be on an updated Menasor / Motormaster. I won't cover Motormaster in that video, I'll cover him separately. And I'll do a full-on thing when I've made the other Stunticons for him. But currently, he can connect to my old Stunticons. So if you've seen those with my old Menasor, then you would have seen them. But Motormaster is a lot better now. So I'll cover him in my next video. That said, I hope you guys enjoyed this look on Lockdown, and I will see you all in the next video, where, again, Menasor probably.